Hello everyone and welcome back to Top 10 Trends. Prison. We've done a fair few videos on prison. It's almost like another dimension or planet. So close but so far away at the same time. It's a scary place for sure, and American prisons are some of the worst ones in the world to be sent to. But it gets much worse than that. It's no wonder that people are always trying to break out or burn down or take over prisons. Some prisons are almost white-collar resorts. Most prisons are not. Some prisons are so bad, you might never come back even if you didn't get a life sentence. These are the top 10 most dangerous prisons in the world. Number 10, Attica, U.S. The Attica Prison Riot, also known as the Attica Prison Rebellion, occurred at the Attica Correctional Facility in Attica, New York, in 1971. Based upon prisoners' demands for better living conditions and political rights, the riot was one of the most well-known and significant uprising of the prisoners' rights movement. On September 9th, 1971, about 1,000 of the Attica prison's approximately 2,200 inmates rioted and took control of the prison, taking 42 staff hostage. During the following 4 days of negotiations, authorities agreed to 28 of the prisoners' demands, but would not agree to demands for complete amnesty from criminal prosecution for the prison takeover or for the removal of Attica's superintendent. The state police took back control of the prison. When the uprising was over, at least 43 people were dead, including 10 correctional officers and civilian employees, as well as 33 inmates. The Attica Correctional Facility was no resort itself. A tear gas system installed in the mess hall and industry areas has used to quell conflicts. The prison now holds many inmates who are serving various types of sentences, and who are usually sent to the facility because of disciplinary problems in other facilities. Number 9, Camp 1391, Israel. Camp 1391 was an Israeli Defense Forces prison camp in northern Israel for high-risk prisoners. The existence of the prison was unknown to the public before 2003, and most information about it remains classified, though Israel's Supreme Court ordered the release of some information about the jail. The location of the camp was accidentally discovered by Israeli historian Gad Kreuzer, who found a 70-year-old map drawn by a government architect while researching an old British police building. Dubbed the Israeli Guantanamo, the secret was kept in such a manner as to be even unknown to the Minister of Justice. Anyone entering the prison can be made to disappear, potentially forever. Detainees were led into the facility blindfolded and kept in cells 6 feet by 6 feet with no natural light. 2 smaller cells with heavy steel doors and black walls were used for solitary confinement. Some of the cells did not have adequate toilet facilities, and the guards controlled the running water. An Amal commander has filed suit against the Israelis, claiming he was sexually abused in the prison. Inmates were not allowed visits at the facility from the Red Cross, nor were any other independent organization permitted to inspect the site. Prisoners were not told where they were, nor were their families or lawyers. Number 8, Vladimir Central Prison, Russia. The Vladimir Prison is a prison for dangerous criminals in Vladimir, Russia. It was established in 1783. Most are serving a minimum of 10 years, and some are in prison for life. It's the largest prison in Russia. The complex served as an infamous prison for political prisoners of the Soviet regime. Among those who perished here was a Polish politician, commander-in-chief of the Estonian army, Armenian general, and many other notables. Francis Gary Powers, a U.S. U-2 spy plane pilot, was imprisoned there until his release in February 1962. Not much else is known about the prison, other than it's a living hell. Number 7, Gitarama Central Prison, Rwanda. It's the most crowded penitentiary in the world. Crammed into a walled space half the size of a football field, 7,000 men are detained in conditions that would have even stoic animal rights activists up in arms. The prison was initially built for 400 inmates, and each man only has a half a square yard of space. In the open courtyard where most prisoners reside, most have no choice but to stand all day. 1 in 8 prisoners in Gitarama has died in the past 9 months. 38% of inmates that go to the hospital suffer from trauma wounds, including burst eardrums and bites by other prisoners, and 41% are suffering from rotting feet from standing barefoot on the wet and dirty ground. Many have had their lower halves amputated as a result. The stench of this prison can be smelled hundreds of yards away. Gitarama lacks proper hospital facilities, as you may have guessed, and there are numerous patients to each bed. Upwards of 6 people die in Gitarama every day. If an epidemic of disease breaks out, every single person is likely to die. Number 6, Rikers Island. Rikers Island is New York City's main jail complex, as well as the name of the island on which it sits. The island is home to one of the world's largest correctional institutions, and has been described as New York's most famous jail. It has a budget of $680 million a year, 9,000 officers, and 1,500 civilians, managing 100,000 admissions per year, and an average daily population of 10,000 inmates. Approximately 85% of those detained at Rikers have not yet been convicted of a crime. Rikers has a reputation for abuse and neglect of inmates, attracting increased media and judicial scrutiny that has resulted in numerous rulings against the New York City government. It's also notorious for assaults by inmates on uniformed and civilian staff, often resulting in serious injuries, making Rikers Island one of the most dangerous places to work. Violence on Rikers Island has been increasing in recent years. In 2015, there were over 9,000 assaults, the highest number in 5 years. Murder is relatively rare on the island, however, with no recorded murders in 2015 or 2016. In 2017, Mayor Bill de Blasio announced his intention to close the jail complex within 10 years. Number 5. Bang Kwang Prison, Thailand. Bang Kwang is a men's prison in Thailand, about 11 kilometers north of Bangkok. It is the location of the men's death row and the execution chamber of Thailand. As of 2009, the prison has 4,163 prisoners. The prison houses many foreign prisoners. It's a harsh prison that handles death row and long sentence prisoners. All prisoners are required to wear leg irons for the first 3 months of their sentences. Death row inmates were required to have their leg irons permanently welded on, although this ended in 2013. The prison earned the nickname Big Tiger because it prowled and ate. Prisoners receive 1 bowl of rice and vegetable soup each day. Other food must be purchased from the prison canteen. The prison works on a chit system. Each prisoner has an account with the canteen. Poor prisoners do chores for wealthier prisoners, and prisoner guards to earn money for food. Western prisoners can receive extra money from charities. Lee Williams was arrested in 1996 for attempting to export heroin and sentenced to 200 years. He served 10 years in chains and contracted tuberculosis. He was transferred back to the UK in 2005 to serve his remaining sentence in HMP Rye Hill. He was released in 2011 after serving 15 years in total after receiving a Royal King's pardon. As of 2009, 743 men were on death row at this prison. Number 4. Tadmor Military Prison, Syria. Tadmor Prison was located in the deserts of eastern Syria, approximately 200 kilometers northeast of Damascus. Tadmor is the Arabic name for destruction, by the way. Tadmor Prison was known for harsh conditions, extensive human rights abuse, torture, and summary executions. It was captured and destroyed by militants of the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant in May 2015. During the 1980s, Tadmor Prison housed thousands of Syrian prisoners, both political and criminal, and it was also the scene of the June 27, 1980 Tadmor Prison massacre. The day after the Syrian branch of the Islamist Muslim Brotherhood narrowly failed an attempt to assassinate President Hafiz al-Assad, members of units of the defense brigades under the command of Rafat al-Assad entered Tadmor Prison at dawn and killed an estimated 1,000 prisoners in the cells and the dormitories. Tadmor Prison was closed in 2001, and all remaining detainees were transferred to other prisons in Syria. It was reopened in 2011 and then destroyed in 2015. Number 3. Camp 22. Camp 22 is a maximum security area in North Korea. Completely isolated from the outside world, prisoners and their families are held in lifelong detention. Extreme human rights violations, including routine torture, forced labor, and human medical experiments, have been attested to by defectors previously employed at the camp. The camp is not included in maps until recently, and the North Korean government denied its existence. It's surrounded by an inner 3,300-volt electric fence and an outer barbed wire fence, with traps and hidden nails between the 2 fences. The camp is controlled by roughly 1,000 guards and 500 administrative agents. The guards have automatic rifles, hand grenades, and trained dogs. In the 1990s, there were an estimated 50,000 prisoners in the camp. The prisoners were mostly people who criticized the government, people deemed politically unreliable, or purged senior party members. They are often imprisoned with their whole family, including children and the elderly. All prisoners are detained until they die. They are never released. There is an execution site in Sugal Valley at the edge of the camp. Number 2. San Quentin State Prison. The San Quentin Prison is a California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation state prison for men located north of San Francisco. Opened in July 1852, San Quentin is the oldest prison in California. It's the state's only death row for male inmates and is the largest in the United States. It has a gas chamber. But since 1996, executions have been carried out by lethal injection, though the prison hasn't executed anyone since 2006. It's been featured in many television shows, literary works, and movies. It has many notable prisoners and has dealt with some of the worst people in the world. Number 1. Carandiru Penitentiary, Brazil. Carandiru Penitentiary was a prison located in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The prison was designed and built in 1920. It was operational from 1956 to 2002, and at its peak was South America's largest penitentiary, housing over 8,000 inmates. In 1992, it was the site of the Carandiru Massacre. Drauzio Varela, a noted Brazilian physician, volunteered as an unpaid physician in Carandiru from 1989 to 2001 to address the AIDS epidemic. He wrote a book describing his own experiences there and the dreadful condition of the inmates. The prison was demolished on December 9, 2002. The Carandiru Massacre occurred on October 2, 1992, when military police stormed the facility following a prison riot. The massacre left 111 prisoners dead and is considered a major human rights violation. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was incredibly depressing. What's your favorite prison to be murdered in? If you like the content, please like it down below. And if you want to see more content, please subscribe. I hope you guys have a great prison-free day. If you're already in prison, best of luck. Bye-bye.